One of the biggest issues in today's world is there are way too many simps out here watering down the value of real men all over the world. It's like the real epidemic. Simps, suckers, cucks, whatever you want to call them. They're just killing the value of men. And we got to check this, man. As men, especially. Nobody else is going to do it besides us. We have to shame these simps, right? Because it's almost like it's so normalized that it's like a joke at this point. Dudes are just like you go on Twitter, dudes are just constantly thirsting over women, and anywhere on social media, they're just being suckers for women and just doing the dumbest things to just devalue themselves. And the end result is a lot of women think that that's normal, and they think and expect every man that they run across to behave like that. So we have to cut this behavior off quickly before it becomes worse than it is. I read a statistic that I want to say like a third of men under the age of 30 are not having sex or haven't had sex in the past year, which as a retainer I practice semen retention. You would think that that's a good thing, but these men that are not having sex are actually, they're not doing it on purpose. They actually can't get a woman. They don't know how to talk to women. They don't know how to behave around women properly as a real man should. And a lot of these men that are not having sex involuntarily, incels, right? These men are actually masturbating excessively. They're just out of control. They're playing video games every day. They're just stuck in their little cube of their apartment or house, not getting outside, not being social, and living a life like an adult male should be living, right? So that's a huge issue that needs to be addressed. And we need to start nipping this behavior in the bud. We need to start shaming these men so that they know it's not cool to be like that, right? Because it's like almost people joke with these guys. It's like a joke, oh, I'll pay your dinner. I'll here, baby, I'll cash app you 500. Here's $1,000, just because you're pretty and all this goofy stuff, man. And it's really devaluing men around the world, right? Now, the good from this is if you're a real G out here, a real man that's about your manhood and you value your manhood, you stand out. You stand out from the crowd of these suckers, right? And women can recognize it from a mile away, okay? That's probably one of the few good things that comes from this is that it's easy to be a real man and stand out today. But again, that's only if you find real women that appreciate a real man, because a lot of these women today seem to be looking for these suckers, and they really almost like vampires. They're just taking advantage of these suckers and sucking their blood, sucking the money out of their bank, just abusing these men and getting them for all they're worth, right? That's just what's gonna happen. So I think if we can just start preaching the practice of semen retention, spreading the message, making it a normal thing to have discipline, which semen retention is one of, if not the most impactful form of discipline that you can have as a man in today's world. If you can practice semen retention with all the chaos that you see on social media, man, you are going to be well off in every other aspect of your life, because it's just one of the hardest things to do in this society, especially where it's damn near porn everywhere. I read a statistic also that most men since the beginning of time have not really been able to have kids. I want to say like 40% of men since it's been recorded Only 40% of men have been able to have kids, have been able to reproduce with a woman. While that leaves 60% of men in human history have not been able to spread their seed, right? So, if you have kids or you plan on having kids, I mean, congratulations, but that just goes to show you that simps have always been here. They're not going anywhere, but we can have an opportunity to reduce them and not make their behavior normal, right? A lot of dudes, these guys who are not getting sex, like I said, they're not having sex, but they're still at home masturbating. They're still would be so they're so desperate to have a woman that they'll do anything for a woman, which is devaluing the value of men. They're watering down our value so much. And some of these guys, when they eventually do get a woman, they do anything for her. They're just her little toy. A lot of these guys actually, they're ruled by their little head, right? Any woman that's in their life, as soon as she calls him up, he's answering the phone and he's doing whatever she says, like a simp is supposed to. Anytime she wants to have some sex, he's answering, he's there. He is basically her walking dildo. And that's not what you want to be as a man. Real men ain't like that. Real men have things to do. Real men have goals, bigger aspirations, right? So I hope you guys are retaining and staying disciplined. And even more so, man, spread the message if you can. Let's make it normal to retain and have this discipline. I know you might get laughed at and looked at weirdly, but hey, that's just showing you, okay, this person is not hearing you out. He's a simp. He's a sucker. Let him suffer. But at least you tried, man. At least we try to spread the message, and I know for sure if we can get more men to do this, more men to have control over themselves, we can get society back on track. We can get things to be making sense again. A lot of these Middle Eastern countries, man, they're ahead of the curve, man. They got women putting clothes on over there. Huh? Women actually putting clothes on, covering up, head to toe, covered up, not exposing, not allowing men to be tempted. There's a reason they have that, right? And a lot of women will argue, oh, you can't control yourself. Oh, listen, because women don't understand men. They don't understand how good they have it over here, right? Like men, when they're lusty and just so desperate to have a woman, men could get dangerous. And women don't even realize how much in danger they are by being exposed like that. They think it's just cool until one day, God forbid, something happens, some psychopath takes advantage of her when she least expects it. There's all kind of bad, sick situations that can come from it. So, as I said, if we can get back on track with the discipline for all men, the more quickly we can get order back to society and improving our way of life, having a better place for our kids to live in and not be exposed to all this filth so early, the way that many of us, I'm sure you have been exposed to porn and all this garbage out here at a young age. I know I was, and I wish I wasn't. Although at the time when you're young, you're like, ooh, it's a cool thing. Like, ooh, I found something I should be looking at. But you don't realize how detrimental it is to your mental health and your spiritual health and all that. So let's just get rid of these simps, man. Let's get these simps to start using their logic, the little bit of logic that they have, snap them up out of that daze that they're in and bring some order back to the world. So help me, help us, help the world, you dig? But I hope this message helps, man. Let's spread the message. And I'm going to holla at y'all on the next one, man. Peace.